Peace and blessings, beautiful souls. I am Brandi L Bates, and you can find me on Twitter at Soledad Francis or on Instagram at Brandi is winning. And again, you can find many of these podcast archives on YouTube. Today we're talking about angel numbers. Angel numbers. What are they? How to identify them? And what do they mean? There's been a lot of talk about angel numbers, especially within the quote unquote woke community or conscious community. And I really don't like those. I don't like those terms because they're so first of all, they're played out, but it's just really not a good idea to generalize ideas. Ideas are free. They don't belong to any one group or one sector. But in terms of angel numbers, one of the most common ways in which angels speak to you is by showing you repetitive number sequences. That's first and foremost. I like to talk about angels. Anyone who knows me personally knows that I speak a lot about my angels, or your angels looking over you. Your angels got your back. Realize that what some of you call God or the Most High, the universe, Tao, Allah, Yeshua, Jah, etc., does not speak to us in English, nor does it communicate to us solely through middlemen, such as ministers and mediums. How many of you know there was a supreme being, a supreme deity long before Judeo-Christianity was ever created, was ever even thought of? When Islam was in its infancy, when Buddhism and Zoroastrianism was in its infancy, there was already a supreme being and a deity. So before any of these languages were ever created, before there was a letter J as in Jesus, there were people, there were civilizations, there were cultures, there were customs, there were traditions. So I don't get caught up on the titles and what we coin things, because those change. But the science behind it, and also how many of you know that spirituality is science. Science before it had the name science, before it had the culture behind it of studying things and microscopes and calculation and quantifying, was spirituality. So those who were hip to science back in the day, they may have been called, soothsayers or whatnot, but they were just studying the cycles and the seasons and realizing that, hey, wait a minute, certain times every year this happens, or I notice these sequences of numbers. They may not have called it that, but they were seen as special and gifted, but really they were just tapped into the science and mathematics that we didn't have names for. So that being said, you have a direct line of communication via your angels, the Most High, and the concept of your higher self. Understand, I'm trying to wrap deep concepts into a neat package you can understand and swallow. And I'm also going to try to cover this in as much time as possible, because I have a lot of ground to cover and a little time to get there. But the forces that govern our universe, and that has a specific link to you and your DNA and your people and your people's people and your people's 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 people, back through the generations didn't need a Bible or a priest, or there's a direct link directly to you, and you have a direct link to getting what it is you need and to understanding natural phenomena in your life and in your world, if that makes any sense. So I hope I'm clearing the path and getting rid of the fuzzies a little bit. But there may have been times, for instance, in your life where you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that some type of supreme being or supreme deity has had your back, because you've walked away from car accidents. I'm speaking from experience. I can, again, only speak my truth. When I was about 8 years old, my mother and I were involved in an automobile accident, hit and run, and I literally walked away with like a bump on my head, those big bumps on cartoons where the bump comes out like 20 feet on cartoons. It was like that. But I mean, I was basically without a scratch. And we were hit by two cars oncoming. Literally, I felt my body flip upside down, something like the onlooker said I flipped like 30 feet high in the air. Hit the ground, was blacked out for like a couple of minutes. I don't know, maybe 2 minutes or a minute or so. Woke up, saw my mother lying on the ground, thought she was dead. I know I was young, but I remember I almost peed on myself. But all the onlookers were like, oh my God, oh my God. I still remember this to this day. I was 8 years old. It happened on Crenshaw Boulevard. And I walked away from that. I'm here today. That's one example. My mother was alive. We both, we were fine. Lived to see another day. But that's just one example. But there may have been times where you've walked away from severe chaos or catastrophe, unscathed, intact, and whole. And you know that something had to have saved your ass, because there is no way you could have survived some of the shit you've survived. And I'm talking to the people who really can take a look over your life and think about times where you were in the belly of the beast. You were at death's door. Shit should have just took you out of here. But for some reason, you're spared. 50 Cent shot 9 times in the face at that. And he's walking, talking, he had his surgeries and things, but he lived to see another day. Something spared his life. Now, some people would say examples like these, that's coincidence, or it's your will to live. But how do you know when you're on death's bed, or when you've been shot, or you've been hit by a car, or you've survived something chaotic and traumatic? How do you know at that time that you should have a will to live? And why is it that you're spared, or your life has been spared, and there's so many people who little things happen and it takes their ass right out of here? I was hit by 2 cars, and I know this because several onlookers told me that. How was I hit by 2 cars, 8 years old, an 8-year-old child, without a scratch, no bones broken? Now, I'm not saying I'm special, and I damn sure can't walk on water, but I'm here to live to tell the story. And hit by 2 cars without a scratch. And there are some people who just are hit by a bike, and they're killed instantly, or what have you. So I'm saying to you that you have angels all around you. There are times where you may be spared from a situation. You're stuck in traffic and you're like, shit, I'll give anything to get out of this traffic. And you don't even know it's your angels rearranging things so you prevent having to be involved in a traumatic, terminal, life-altering, ending accident. I know there may have been times where you've driven past a terrible, terrible car accident or a train accident or something, and you realize, if you think about it, if I was 5 minutes earlier, that would have been my car. Those are things that I'm talking. There are no coincidences, folks. So maybe, for some of you who are more skeptical, you're calling bullshit. But I submit to you that there is a way you can learn how to start tuning into the guidance your angels are sending you through these angel numbers. Now, when I say angels, I'm not talking about aliens and demons and none of this, Da Vinci Code shit, or the so-called spirits of our dearly departed, though I do believe the spirits of our departed are still with us. But what I speak of here is something a little different. And those who talk about angel numbers, they may be speaking about those things, but that's not what I'm referencing. Now, keep in mind that angels are incredibly pure spiritual beings with magnificently elevated vibrations. Years ago, there was a show out back in the 80s or the 90s, I can't remember, called Highway to Heaven. And it was about, the premise was about this angel who, he would help people. There have been several movies, some really good ones that they pretty much nail it. But angels are all around us, and they're not human. They've never been human. The Bible talks about it for you Christians and those of you who just believe strongly in the infallibility of the Bible, but it talks about how we entertain angels unaware all the time, and how the angels cry out, and just so many different references to them. But as a three-dimensional earthbound human, a flawed human, we aren't able to see or feel and hear their presence until we raise our vibration and release layers and layers of belief and disbelief and filters that block us from experiencing the angelic realms. There are angelic realms, okay? So, it's kind of like, it would be very difficult for you to shrink yourself down to the size of an amoeba or a parasite to get into that parasite's world. Though parasites exist, they are in your body, on your body, billions and trillions of them. But we can't get down on their level to speak to them or communicate with them, quote unquote. It's the same way with angels. So their intelligence and their level of vibration and resonance and frequency is so high, there is just really no way for us to talk to them, like sit down face to face, have coffee, a Starbucks date. Those things are not possible. But they can speak to us in certain ways. And number sequences are a clever way the angels use to bypass all of the filters we have. Because how many of you know we have all these subconscious filters that we raise up without our even knowing, involuntarily. So for instance, if I were to say to you, an angel swooped down last night and saved my daughter or my son, I saw him with my own eyes, you would immediately, your sane mind, the sanity, your sane mind, your rational, logical mind would be like, she's full of shit. Either she's full of shit, or she's on dope, or she's crazy, or she's clinically, hasn't been diagnosed mentally ill. But now if I showed you a video, or I showed you something that you could see and wrap your hands around, then you might be like, wow, I don't know. Some of you are still skeptical and will be like, well, it's, it's Photoshop, it's the lighting, it's all this bullshit. But those types of things, angels have to bypass so they can get the message to us. So angel numbers are, number one, they're the course correct. They're the course correct to get you back on the right track. Because a lot of times we get off track. And if you have angels who care about you and you're tapped in and tuned in and you realize they're there, they will help you guide your steps, especially if you reach out to them. Angel numbers are there to offer you encouragement or validation during times. There'll be times in your life where you just need validation. You need encouragement. And I'm talking to those who you really hit the bottom. You've been laid off or unemployed, or you got a diagnosis at the doctor that with some shit they're telling you they can't cure it. They can't do anything with it. You fourth stage is too far gone, and you need some encouragement. You need some serious spiritual encouragement and validation from on high. Like, you can't deal anymore. Angel numbers, our angels, namely, will help provide that. Angel numbers are there to guide you, or to let you know that they're with you. They're available, and you can ask for help. You can you can reach out and ask for assistance, and you can have real guidance. Because I don't know about you, but there come times in your life where you just don't know which way to go. Should you take the job? Should you not take the job? Should you stay at this job, or should you look for something else? Should you have the baby? Should you stay in this relationship? Should you invest? Should you get in this, should you get involved into this organization or that organization? Or should you move to this neighborhood? Should you stay in this city? Should you move to another country? There are times where, you just don't know. And you can get advice from friends and family, but that's limited to their understanding and their knowledge and their scope of knowing things. So the next way that angels and angel numbers work is through aligned synchronicity. Your angels can and will physically arrange for you, for instance, to be driving behind a car whose license plate starts off with the same numbers you've been seeing everywhere else all day. And I know you know what I'm talking about if you think about it. For me, my angel numbers are 439, and I've been seeing them for years. Even before I understood the concept of angel numbers or was introduced to it, but I always knew something was about those numbers because I always see them. To this day, I still always see them. And some people may say, well, because you've said that, now you're going to see it everywhere. Kind of like when you want a certain kind of car, then you start seeing that car everywhere and you think, wow, have I always seen this car? Or am I just seeing it all the time everywhere now? But you may not be able to clearly hear the messages from on high or from your angels yet. So in order to get your attention, your angels might nudge you, wake up every morning at 5:55, or every time you wake up, it's 6:26, or for me, 4:39. I may wake up, not 4:39, obviously, but, I just see it everywhere. You see these sequences everywhere, right? So you glance at your clock. It's 11:11. I get a lot of people who get a lot of 11:11s. Some people say, make a wish. 11:11, make a wish. Where did that concept come from? Where did the concept of lucky 7, 7-11, 7-11, 7-11, where did that come from? Angel numbers. Now, when this happens, your angels are delivering you a message and helping you to become aware of their presence in a way that can't be blocked by your ego or your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind is a lot smarter than you think, and sometimes it can sabotage you because it wants to keep you safe. So anything that is outside of your scope of what you believe will keep you safe, even if it's some shit that is harmless, but you believe it might be demonic or of the occult, or, you know, and understand there's nothing under the sun that is, you know, meant to be, how can I say this? As long as you understand things and you study it from every angle, stand under it and stand over it, understand it and overstand it, it can't cause you any harm. Information cannot cause you harm. The lack of information, ignorance of information, can cause your ass a whole world of harm. So don't run from something because somebody says, well, that's of the occult or that's evil. No, what's evil is some of the shit we see happening in the world, and it's in broad daylight and legalized. So, you know, don't run away from these ideas. But when you keep seeing a recurring sequence of numbers, it is more than just a clever coincidence. It's a message from your angels, and it's reminding you of your genetic encoded memories. Okay? Understand, the universe is mathematically precise. Mathematically precise. I've talked about this before with the Fibonacci sequence and the golden mean, sacred geometry. But the universe is mathematically precise, and every number has a clear and precise meaning that we can tune into to gain understanding in our lives. It's not subjective. It's very clear and precise. That's what I love about math. You can be subjective with English and philosophy and history. You can write your heart out in an essay, and your professor, your teacher can give you a C average, even though you believe it was, you know, your magnum opus, right? But math, either you know it or you don't. And the formulas will work out no matter what era or age it is, no matter, you know, who you are. Formulas always work. So the Sumerians, Egyptians, the Babylonians, as well as the Mayans and all other indigenous peoples knew about the precise, clear meaning of numbers. We see it in their relics. We see it in their nomenclature. We see it in the cave drawings and in the various forms of fossils and things. But numbers reflect certain characteristics, qualities, and aptitudes that relate to life. Follow me. So what's important to know in terms of understanding angel numbers and communicating with the angels is that each number, 1 through 9, and then also the master numbers, 11, 22, 13, 33, hold a distinct and significant meaning. Okay? So the numbers 11, 22, and 33 are 3 master numbers, and the highest is 33. Now, when you learn the meaning of these individual numbers, you can then link them together to decipher and understand the basic message your angels are conveying through the number sequences you see. So first you got to understand what's the vibrational frequency behind a 1 or behind a 7. And so then once you know all the numbers 1 through 9, when you start seeing them 439 or 1111 or 333 or 666, where do we get that from? Oh, we see 666 and we get in our bag, right? It's like, oh shit, the mark of the beast. I don't want that number. You know, folks they don't want it on their license plate. They don't want that to be their locker number. They just sheer away from it. You know, it's evil. But where did that come from? Again, so when you learn the meaning, you can start to put 2 and 2 together, so to speak. And An example of numbers and how they play into our lives, another example is this: most of the world's wealth, or my future millionaires and billionaires, most of the world's wealth is stored north of the 33rd parallel. Major financial centers north of the 33rd parallel include London, New York, Chicago, Switzerland. How many of you know about those offshore accounts? And sometimes our angel numbers will tell us the four pinnacles of our life and what ages these important periods, which are the equivalent of the spring, summer, fall, and winter of our life, will occur. So our karmic number, which will tell us about our particular strengths and challenges as we travel along life's path, is also going to be linked a lot of times to your angel numbers. And you may have the same sequence of angel numbers for a variety of years, you know. For instance, me, I think I've been seeing my angels, the specific angel numbers, for probably like 8 or 9 years. You may start seeing some numbers and then not see them anymore at various times in your life, because you're going to go through different epochs in your life, and in other words, different seasons. So you're going to have a winter of your life. You know, I hate to break it to you. You know, you have the time in your life where it's the summer of your life. Everything is popping. It's good. You know, what do you think of when you think of the summer? Everything is hot, feels good, growth, abundance. We feel good. We're tapped in and tuned in. I don't know anyone who really doesn't like the summer, you know. And then you have the spring, which is a wonderful time of a lot of your birthing a lot of things in your life. And then you have a time of your life where things are going to recede, where, you know, you're going to have periods of your life where shit is not all good, where it's hard to squeeze anything out of life. And those are just representative of the different seasons in your life. And if you are tuned in and paying attention to the codes in your world, you will understand that your angels are trying to kind of give you an idea or chart your course, help you to chart your course. They can't chart your course for you. You know, no one can create in your reality for you, but you can have guidance. You can have validation. You can have clarity. You can have a nudge, a little help, a little crutch. Also, when a number sequence begins appearing to you, ask your angels to clearly tell you what they are trying to convey. And that comes back to you having a strong prayer life. No matter how educated you are, how wealthy you become, or who you know, never get too big to fall on your knees and go into prayer. I've said it before. When you pray, first and foremost, you hear it first. So the God within you is listening first. So whether you are praying to whatever deity you pray to, or even if you just believe in a higher entity, ask, ask, knock, seek, inquire within, you know. Begin to use your intuition to understand what's being conveyed. I think books are good. Doreen Virtue has an excellent book on angel numbers. I like all her stuff, but I believe you really have to tap into your intuition, your gut instincts and emotions. Books can take you so far. They're going to take you pretty damn far, but you have to use your intuition. You have to see with your third eye. You have to tap in and tune in with your own pineal gland. You know, you have to listen to the vibes you're getting and roll with that. Because you're always going to get intuitive nudges as well. Not just numbers, but actual, your skin might crawl. You know, have you ever got around somebody who everybody, you know, from the looks of it, they're like, you know, I fucks with her or I fool with him. He's cool. He's good people. He's reliable. He's trustworthy. But something in you is just, something isn't right with this person. That's intuition. And that's what I'm talking about. A book is not going to give you that. A website is not going to give you that. A blog is not going to give you that. You have to get that from within. But behind recurring number sequences, there are always messages from the angels. So pay attention. And alongside every angel number sent as a sign, your angels are communicating with you through your subtle senses and intuition. And angels want to help you improve your life. So when you increase your awareness, you're able to then tune into more of their guidance and healing and frequency to do just this. So the meaning of seeing, for instance, a triple number sequence is similar to seeing a single digit, but the meaning is multiplied. So we know that, you know, our master numbers 11, 22, 33 are significant. So you know when you see 1111 or 111, 333, 222, 666, there's triple attention there. Triple meaning. Pay attention, right? It's like it's your angel's way of using, like when you see a red octagon, you know to stop, you know to use caution, right? At least if you're American or, you know, you're over the age of 18, you know, when you see a red octagon, I don't even have to say anything. Red octagon, stop. You just know, stop, caution, right? Well, that's what triplets or triples do. Triple number sequences. When angels communicate through number sequences, they usually do so by showing you one or a few key number sequences at a time. So for this reason, when you repetitively see certain numbers, really zoom in, like really start, don't freak like you're not about to die or anything, but really like try to put up your antenna, right? Angel numbers are usually repetitive. So in other words, the same numbers will appear to you repeatedly until you get the message. Like they are going to try to hit your ass over the head with the, like literally hit you over the head with these numbers till you get it. And I know some of you know what I'm talking about. You'll see it so much and you're like, God, what are you trying to tell me? That's what you have to start to say. What are you trying to tell me? What should I know? Who should I be speaking to? Where should I go? What should I be tapping into? You know, every morning when I wake up, and sometimes throughout the day, I always ask, you know, what can I read today? What can I experience today that will make this the greatest day of my life? What can I experience, touch, taste, feel, see, experience that will make this the greatest day of 2017 or the greatest day of my life? And when I pay attention, the signs start to manifest. But you know, they're trying to hit you over the head with these numbers so you'll get the message and integrate the teaching into your life. Again, they don't speak English. They don't speak Spanish. They don't speak Italian. They don't speak French or Creole or patois. They are speaking in a language that numbers, math is universal, and it never changes through no matter what era, no matter what epoch, no matter what, you know, the 1600s, the 1300s, AD, numbers remain the same. Words change, meanings change. We're creating new words every day. 100 years ago, 30 years ago, there was no such thing as tweeting, Facebooking, Google that. So we're always creating new words and new meanings and new, takes on shit. Alternative facts. What the hell is that? What's an alternative fact? So, those are just examples. But again, numbers, they don't change. They don't change. So when you do get the message, it's likely the numbers you're seeing will then shift as the angels move on to help you out in a new area of your life. I hope I'm getting through. I hope this is relevant for someone. But to help us understand and help us handle practical challenges we can expect in the future, angel numbers, for instance, 33, I was mentioning earlier, the number of murders of people of high position and key witnesses along the 33rd parallel is significant. 33 is a powerful number. In addition, the three most well-known centers of paranormal activity are all on or near the 33rd parallel. Atlantis, the Great Pyramids, Cheops, Giza, the Bermuda Triangle. Remember last week's podcast, I talked about the different anomalies we're going to start to see that just don't add up with what science has taught us. The Bermuda Triangle is one of those examples. Kennedy was shot while riding in the back of a limousine on Elm Street in Dallas, Texas, right? Just south of the 33rd degree of latitude, the 33rd parallel. Coinkadink? No ma'am. No sir. No coinkadink. So physical reality, understand, physical reality is a consciousness program created by digital codes. Codes are in everything, remember. Codes are in everything. Remember to remember this. Numbers, numeric codes define our existence, okay? Human DNA, our genetic memory, is encoded to be triggered by digital codes at specific times and frequencies throughout our lives. Those codes then awaken the mind to the change and evolution of our consciousness, of things happening on a day-to-day. But every day, whether you're at home, traveling, or at work, whatever, there are tons of opportunities for you to come across number sequences. When you begin to understand the vibrational meaning of each number as it relates to your experience, to your life, there is an incredible amount of guidance and insight, you can tap in and tune into. Each letter has a numeric value. Just like when you think about the gematria, or some people say gematria, Kabbalah, every letter has a numeric value, right? But did you know that they also have a related cosmic vibration, a vibrational frequency? And these numbers, they show a great deal about character, our own character and the character of those in our lives, purpose in life, goals, direction, what motivates us, and even where our talents may lie. You can get all this from these numbers. I'm telling you, you can use the numbers to determine the best time for a major move. We also can see this with numerology, right? Decide when to invest, when to get married, when to travel, when to change jobs, when to relocate, right? Imagine if you had more clarity and guidance on when you should invest in a house versus renting. Or if you had some guidance on whether you should get involved with a certain person, or should you leave a questionable, relationship. These things happen where you just really don't know what direction you should take. So you'll know, you may see 1111 frequently. These things create synchronicities in your life. And 11 is a higher octave of the number 2. Remember that. It carries psychic vibrations. Those 1111 Scorpios out there. Deep, powerful people. 1111. That resonance has an equal balance of masculine and feminine properties. It's a lot of deep science. I would be here all day. So I can only scrape the surface of this. But most digital codes that evoke memory are double digits. Okay? When you talk about monarch programming, when you talk about programming in general, right? Whether it's computer language, we see zeros and ones, binary code, right? Double digits or countdowns. Countdowns are another one, such as 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if I say, after my countdown, you're getting sleepy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Once you see your numeric codes, or you hear them, or you tap into them, you pay attention to them, you have activated something in your DNA codes, yours, and they'll continue to appear until you get the message. So what I'm saying, without being too wordy, is that the messages are encoded in the numbers. And I can't say to you, okay, when you see 222 everywhere, this is what it means for you in your life. Because you have a lot of shit going on in your life that no one knows about. Only you know about, right? Your inner thoughts, your proclivities, the things that your leanings, the things that you are into that you don't talk about. Some of your fears that you don't speak. We all have fears we don't speak because we don't even want to birth them into the into the reality of our lives. But there are certain things that only you and your angel will know. So that's why I said you can only get so much from reading the books and the blogs and talking to people. A medium or some type of other third party can only give you so much into, what's for you. So, but the numbers usually signal changes in the patterns of your life. They may confirm something that you're experiencing whenever the numbers appear to you. You may dream about the numbers, linked with things you don't even understand yet. But I'm saying to you, keep on living. It's going to start to all make sense. As Common once said, one day it'll all make sense. You may dream about these numbers and wake up at the same time every night with those numbers on your digital clock. What does that mean? Again, I can't speak into the specifics of what your specific angel numbers mean for you in your life at this time, or what they may mean at another time. But if you want a broader explanation behind specific numbers that you're seeing everywhere or have been seeing everywhere, you should visit Joanne Sacred Scribe's blog, Joanne Sacred Scribe. There's tons of material online, tons and tons of books. Like I said, Doreen Virtue is a good one. But a lot of online material, a lot of videos, a lot of commentary in general. I'm just scraping the surface. But in the Sacred Scribe blog, she breaks down each number and all the various sequences. And again, though, I want to reiterate, use your intuition, use your gut. That thing that tells you that man or that woman, something isn't right with them. I don't know what it is, but something ain't sitting right with me. That right there, that part. Pay attention to that. More than the books, more than the blogs, more than the videos, more than the conferences. Those things are tools. They can help take you but so far, but your intuition will give you everything you need. And one day it will all make sense, because you're going to begin to put two and two together. Life is understood in retrospect. You understand it at the end, and you start to understand more of it as you get closer and closer to the end, or to the transition. So with that being said, folks, I thank you for listening. I appreciate you, each and every man and woman. If you're hearing my voice, I'm sending you a lot of love and light and abundance and balance and wholeness and harmony in your world. I appreciate you for rocking with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace and blessings. We'll see you next week.